Make sure the bus is there. Make sure the bus driver knows exactly when we need to be there. All the bus way in Oxford to find a hotel. I mean, it's an endeavor to be the director of operations, and nobody notices him until there's a snafu, right?
Yeah, until there's no food left, right. But Brett Blackman, who's a former head coach at Charleston football, is our director of football operations. I'm glad you brought it up because it gives me an opportunity just to acknowledge the job that he's done, and he's got a staff. And it is tough. We had a lead car, that goes 30 to 45 minutes ahead, lets us know about traffic, all those type of things, meet. And, when you got that many people, like when we went to EIU, stopped at a rest stop, 3 of the 6 toilets are broken. Well, you got 100 people. Well, that just added 30 minutes to your stop. Just little things like that you don't think about. It's just because of the numbers.
And I tell you one thing, I did notice sometimes when I travel with women's basketball, that is the key trip to go on if you're a man and you do stop for the rest area. It's just me and Coach Gary, and that's it.
That's it.
The line is out the women's room and not the men's room. I mean, You try to get in a restroom on a stop for the football team, and good luck. Pack a lunch, right?
No, exactly right.
All right, so you travel down to Jacksonville, and the thought process on going down there when you looked at them on film, because you can just see the numbers. Now you were the number one in conference play. You were the number one scoring offense, but they were right behind, and then you go to scoring defense, total defense, rush defense. I mean, there's a reason that they had won 6 games in a row. They were kind of atop all of the critical statistical, places that you want to be. Did you think – now you got on the field with them and you'd seen every snap, I'm sure, on video. Did you think that their defense was going to be as good as it was on Sunday?
I think we had a good idea about them, and we knew it was going to be a challenge. Our goal was to make it a fourth-quarter game. They hadn't been in one. And, defensively, we held them to their lowest point total of the season. And we just come up short on offense, and, I'm sure people are wondering, hey, Coach, why you just scored 3 points, and obviously we miss a field goal. And by nature, that defense, you have to big play them. They put everybody in the box, and if you go back to last year and the previous 2 years, it was all the big plays, and we weren't able to connect on several of those deep balls that were open. But for whatever reason, there's a lot of reasons, but wasn't able to get a score or two because really, we knew it was going to be a tight game. If we connect on a couple of them, you're right in there. And not that there's not some stuff in there that we got to get better, but I think people and fans and parents and everybody else, just judge things by, the outcome. All right, you lost. But really my job is to look through the details, see progress, understand where we're at and how to move forward, because winning and losing is just a byproduct of 1,000 other things. And there were quite a few things that I thought we did a way better job of. And I think the interesting thing is just kind of how young this team's turned out. We've had some injuries and stuff, but – so we had 14 freshmen play.
I was calling a lot of names that I hadn't seen and say, this guy's a freshman, this guy's a freshman.
It's kind of crazy. We had 7 true freshmen, 7 guys that were in high school last year on that field. So I think that's a little bit of it, and it's exciting because they played well and you like how it could look someday, but also it's hard to win with newcomers. Like, that's just hard to do. And so a little bit out of necessity and some injuries and stuff, but also they've earned some of those reps. So, again, there were some real positives that came out of the game that certainly I took.
And, other than Zach Smith, you really didn't have – now, Colby Cornett is one, but at the receiver position, you were down Aaron Alston.
Yeah.
Well, who scored the game-winning touchdown the last time you went to Jacksonville State? Aaron Alston scored the game-winning touchdown. So you didn't have him. You got Zach. But other than that, you've got names of guys, even Johnny King. I mean, this is his first year really doing some things. So you didn't have a whole lot of experience at receiver. One thing that I think that you're starting to see, and maybe you see it as well, you hear about quarterbacks really connecting with a particular receiver, and sometimes you hear, boy, that's my safety blanket, or maybe the guy they trust the most. We're starting to see, I think, that between Andrew Bunch and Zach Smith. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree, and I've probably been the last 3 games at least, some really tough, good catches, good throws, third downs, and super happy for Z. He's off to a great start this year.
The one thing we noticed, just kind of documenting exactly what was going on during the game, I think Bunch completed 11 of his first 12 passes out here. So, in other words, anything in the flat, I think he was 11 for his first 12. I think it was 0 for his first 9 on anything more than 5 yards downfield. What did you see there?
Like I said, they basically brought pressure and played man-to-man, and so you had to hang on the ball, and the protection broke down a little bit. And, I think Bunch probably could have hit maybe a couple, could have got the ball out a little earlier and some stuff like that. I just think, it's more of good defense than bad offense. I think Jacksonville was just that good. They were able to get you in those long yardage situations, and then it's just going to be tough.
Now, Austin Peay came in with a very good rush defense, and you ran on them, and Geno Hess ran on them. Not only does Jacksonville not allow any rushing, I mean, they're only giving up 61 yards a game, but then you look at the pass rush. They got the Bunch 4 times in the game. Is that as good a pass rush as you played against so far?
Yeah, it definitely that's their game. They get you in a long yardage, and they got some great edge rushers. They got some twitchy guys inside, and they just collapse the pocket. And, when you're waiting for a receiver to get down the field that far, it makes it really tough. No one's going to be good on 3rd and long. That's just by nature. And so it was kind of that perfect storm. They're good pass rushers, but they're really good when it's 3rd and 10. If it's 3rd and 4 and you don't know and all those are the type of situations we got to try and stay in.
What's interesting with Jacksonville State is they've got an All-American quarterback. Zarek Cooper played at Clemson. I mean, this guy played on the highest level, and he gets hurt. So they bring in Zion Webb. Fortunately for Jacksonville, they're not bringing in a young guy. Webb has been in their program for 3 years. He's seen a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a veteran guy. He comes in, and it seems like Jacksonville doesn't miss a beat. Now, he's not as talented as Zarek Cooper, but just watching him yesterday, there were 2 plays that stuck out to me. One play, he's throwing a sideline route. He gets hammered right as he throws it. You've got 2 defenders there, and he puts it right over the shoulder of his receiver.
Yeah, that was an early one.
And it was a 31-yard play.
Yeah. And
then later in the football game, it's only a 14-3 score. You get in the backfield, you've got him, you're going to throw him down. It's going to be about a 10 to 15-yard sack. Somehow he gets away and completes a little pass, which actually you said watching video was behind the line of scrimmage, and it goes for 54 yards and a touchdown. So, you kind of feel like, man, that's a lucky play. But he did make 2 plays. Those were the 2 plays to me were like, man, those were game-changing type plays.
No, you hit it on the head. I mean, that's why you got to give them credit is they made some plays. They earned those plays. It wasn't luck at all. So same way with us, we gotta earn some of those big plays also.
Defensively, what did you see that you were doing well? The first drive of the game, man. I mean, they went right down the field. You're like, holy smokes! If this is the way it's going to be, it could be a long day for the Redhawks. But then the next time they get the football, 3 and out, and you regularly put them to the sideline with 3 and outs. I know that your third down conversion rate was not good, but they were 3 of 13 on 3rd down and 0 for 2 on 4th down. So that is 3 for 15 in 3rd or 4th down. I mean, your defense made plays when they were trying to extend drives.
No, you hit it on the head. That first 3rd down was that big play that he made on that first series, and then they kind of came out in a new formation, we call it load option play, and we just hadn't practiced it, and they did a good job, and we ended up getting adjusted on the sideline. Those coaches did a good job, but that kind of just got us on that first drive of doing something we hadn't practiced or hadn't seen on film. But then settled right in. Their backs are really big. Like, to be able to stop on fourth down and to be able to have that kind of third down is impressive, because up before this game they were great on those, because those backs were like 225 pounds. Like, they were hard to get moving backwards.
Uriah West is listed at 225 pounds, and he ran over one of your 235-pound linebackers at one point. He ended up making the tackle, but he got dragged a couple of yards. I mean, that's a strong guy. So they have three guys that they rotate in all the time: West, Josh Samuel, and Pat Jackson. And so here we are in the opening drive, and they bring in all three backs, and they line them up in single file right behind the quarterback web. So you got four guys in a line. When you first saw them line up into that, what was your first thought?
We better draw it up on the sideline, because as surprised as you were, our players were just as surprised, because you obviously practice things based on what guys have done. So that was certainly, from the get-go, a concern. And it took us a little while, because I kind of had some success with it a little bit in the second quarter, and then obviously in the second half we got it solved. But, good job by those guys.
And you look at Zion Webb. I mean, he's a good athlete, because you could see that he's got the ability to scramble and slide left and right to extend plays. But he hadn't rushed for a touchdown this year. And they go to that formation, and all of a sudden he runs an option, and he keeps it for a touchdown. Something that, first of all, he hasn't done all year. And secondly, a formation that they haven't run all season.
Yeah, no, they did a nice job. And I think they thought they were going to have to be creative a little bit to be able to run on our defense, and out of necessity, I think they did a good job finding those plays.
How often do you guys do that in practice? You say, you know what, I'm seeing something with this team, or we need to show them something different. How often during the course of a season do you put in some stuff that the opponent has not seen on film?
I think it kind of depends on how you're doing, if you're rolling, how you feeling about things. But it happens probably more than people think, just because you feel like you got to mix it up and stuff. You've done it both, where, if you feel good about things, just go line up and execute. Because as soon as we realized what they were doing, then it was never a problem, right? Because, we got it fixed. But, and so that's kind of the issue. You don't know how to adjust it after we adjusted, because they haven't repped it as much.
So Brandon Mincy, Coach, 11 tackles in the football game, one behind the line of scrimmage. How about the way Brandon Mincy's playing right now?
Yeah, super, super happy for him. He walked on here.
Really?
And earned a scholarship. More importantly, he's probably, one of the top 5 influential people on our team. He's got a lot of relationships with a lot of guys, and I know even on Sunday he kind of got his linebackers up and had some really good words of encouragement and leadership. And those are the guys that have to take that next level of leadership without the Zach Halls and Santas and all those guys that are no longer here. It's this next generation of leaders, and he's one of them that I got to rely on, and his teammates need him to lead also.
How successful can you be week in and week out if you don't have leaders like this?
Well, you better be really talented. But, leadership is so important, especially in football. There's just so many highs and lows. There's a lot of guys not playing. There's just this perfect recipe for disaster if you don't have good leadership. And if you have good leadership, it's one of the biggest differentiators between, when teams are close, because – when things aren't going well, that's the team that respond, and vice versa. So, I mean, it's huge, but leadership is hard. It's hard to teach. It's, and there's a lot to it. Being a leader nowadays especially is hard. You're trying to lead your friends. How does that work, right?
Right.
My wife tries to lead me. It's not work very good. It's a lot harder when it's that relationship piece, and so – that's something I'm really going to try to dive into this summer, and try to take it to a new level. I don't think it's bad by any means, but I do think we can get better there.
It's interesting. Rick Pitino, who is national championship college basketball coach, Obviously, one of only, I think, 3 coaches to ever lead 5 different programs to the NCAA tournament. I mean, he is as successful a college coach as there's been over the last several years. You look, he has written several books, and I read one of his books, and it's called Lead to Succeed, and it's all about leadership, and there's only one athlete that he mentions in the book. That's it. I mean, these are just leaders, world leaders, country leaders, and he goes in and kind of shows all of their leadership qualities. The only athlete that was in his book was Bill Russell for the Boston Celtics, who's won more NBA championships than any player ever, and probably that record will never be broken. But he talks about leadership in all aspects of life. That kind of stuff can be cycled right into the game of football or athletics.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a parent, too. Like, how do you teach leadership? What's your mechanics of teaching leadership? How do I teach a kid to lead? How do I teach my daughters to lead? There's, people don't follow fuzzy leadership, right?
Right.
And we spend all this time teaching them how to read, how to do math, and all these things, but these are some of the most critical skill sets you need to be successful at life. And so, it's also what makes sports good, right? Because it gives you that platform to lead. I mean, it is a incubator to make you good at life or to expose some weaknesses.
You've been around athletes for so long, and I know you've seen this, and I know you've heard the phrase natural-born leader. This guy or this, gal is a natural-born leader. Does that always mean they're going to lead? And then secondly, if somebody you don't describe as a natural-born leader, can they become a leader? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm getting overstimulated right now. All this leadership talk's kind of getting me rolling here. I don't believe there's DNA that has leadership. There's certain skill sets and certain qualities that may make you able to have a high-end leadership ability, but these are not, you're not born one way or the other. And so I think that's the first lesson is any and everybody could be a leader. But it's just like if you say, well, I'm a leader by example. No, you're not. You're just a guy that's a buy-in guy. And leader by definition, you're taking somebody with you. If you're not verbally or actively taking somebody with you, you're just a guy that's doing a good job for yourself, And so we do leadership trainings and try to do a good job with it. And even me as I don't know how old I am, 47, 48. I feel 88, but I have to still continue to learn how to lead people because – we have to create results through our people, not something I actually do. And so, leadership is just the never-ending skill set builder. Like, as about the time you think you got this leadership under control, you learn more about it.
So you've seen guys over the years who are just naturally gifted. I mean, they're just gifted. I mean, there's no other way to say it. God graced them with ability, but maybe they don't work as hard as the next guy because they don't have to work as hard as the next guy. Do you see guys who you think, man, now this guy could really be a leader, but he's doing the same thing that the talented guy is. He's just kind of cruising, and he's not really trying to maximize. I mean, you hear things about Michael Jordan, the hardest worker on the team, yet the most talented guy. You've got a chance to succeed when you've got leaders like that. But you see guys where you think, man, this guy could be a real impact leader, but I just don't see him putting in the work.
No, I mean, first of all, why do I need to lead? Like a kid's ask you, hey, why do I need to be a leader? I'm just here to do my job and my job enough. And so it takes that special Michael Jordan to understand that if you want to have individual success, that comes from team success. And team success is just a byproduct of all these things, but leadership is a huge piece of that. And so, Z. Smith's on our leadership council, and he does a good job. And but not everybody wants to, and so that's probably as big a piece as it is in anything.
And I saw this poll one time. Jerry Seinfeld, the stand-up comic, he kind of uses this line. He says, they ask people what their biggest fear in life is. He said number 1 was public speaking, and number 2 was death. Death was number 2.
Really?
Public speaking was number 1. How often is it where, hey, guys are fiery or, they got a chance to be a leader. They just don't feel comfortable about to kind of talk it in public. And, can you get guys through that kind of stuff?
It's hard. And so, you got to role play. You got to get them to be verbal. And, but again, that's leadership. It is hard. Like leading my family's hard. Leading any business is hard. But it's really hard if you're a mute. I mean, you gotta talk and you gotta communicate. We gotta have great clarity about who we are and where we're going and all these things. And so, but again, our program is to use the sport to make better men. There's no better skill set that these men could leave our program with skill sets of learning how to lead and trying to be a leader. I mean, that's just going to serve them well, whatever field they're in.
Coach Tom Matukowicz, we're talking Red Hawks football. It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show at Wings, etc. in Cape. I used to have conversations with Coach Rick Ray, basketball coach here at Southeast. One of his theories was, boy, nowadays, in terms of communication, and he wanted on-court communication, just communication all the time. He said it's so much harder now to get guys to communicate because everything's a text message. I mean, people aren't talking to each other as much at this age. It's a text message. They're on Twitter. They're on Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it is. Do you find that the same way? I mean, Are you finding that it's harder to get guys to communicate just because of, what they're doing off the field?
Absolutely. I mean, that's why we have, like, we'll call it family meals where cell phones are off and you got to talk. I'll mix it up and, all right, here's 2 questions you got to ask each other. Like, you have to practice talking. I'll tell you the other thing is you got to practice how to introduce yourself to someone. They introduce themselves through social media right now. Hey, I'm so-and-so from wherever, where the handshake, the eye-to-eye, the firm, the confidence. And I'll tell you the other thing, volume. They're over there like little mini-me's going, hello, hello. And so what's that come across to somebody is this guy's not confident. So you need to speak. Volume reflects confidence. When you interact with people, you need to have good volume. You need to look them in the eye. You need to shake their hand firmly and all these things. It's something we got to help them with. And some of them do a great job of it too, But it is just by nature, they don't have to do it, so they're not good at it.
We're starting to see that a lot more now when there are get-togethers. Cell phone, I want them out of here. Cell phones are great. You guys can use them. But right here, there are no cell phones. We are a team, and we're going to communicate face-to-face.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's and otherwise, you miss one of the most beautiful things about being on a team. What? Connections and relationships. So don't miss these things. Pretty soon this team won't be together again. And so don't miss those moments that you can interact with each other.
This will take place down the line with you with your OVC championship team, your playoff team that beat Stony Brook, those guys that had ultimate success. Down the line we'll see just exactly how their relationships are. But I'm sure you're already back to some of those teams that you had at SIU that went into the playoffs, that had great success. It's been long enough now where those guys are, it's in the rearview mirror. But I bet that a lot of those guys are still in contact with each other and still consider each other brothers all these years later.
Absolutely. You could not talk to each other for 10 years, but then all of a sudden act like, you just talked last week, That's the beautiful thing about sports. It's not fake. A lot of relationships in a normal business, you're not interacting enough. It's not hard enough. You don't, go through hard times and good times together. It's just kind of your day life. Where sports teams aren't like that. And so they're built on real moments and experiences.
We're going to bring Zach Smith up here in just a couple of minutes, Coach. Talk about recruiting Zach to come to Southeast Missouri State.
Well, he was from a great high school, won a state championship. I think he ended up, he'll have to tell their story. He broke his foot or leg in a state championship game, and I think played still on it. Just a tremendous competitor. We really battled Murray for him, and Murray was a throw it all over the place team.
Right.
And we weren't really at the time, and but I think the thing that I love about Z is he just felt home here. He really compared Cape Girardeau in this area to Louisville, in that area, and he kind of bought into what we could be someday. And then obviously he's came and put in all that hard work to help create these kind of moments.
And when he was a freshman, did you think that he would eventually develop into what you've got now? I mean, a guy who can impact a football game, not only running the ball, he's great on the jet sweep, catching the football, and then in the return game. I mean, he's a weapon in the return game.
Absolutely. He came in and he was a little undeveloped and thin, and ended up, I think, with a broken collarbone his first year. So he's had a lot of adversity, a lot of injuries and stuff, but that's what makes his story so great is what he's had to overcome to have the kind of outcomes that he's having right now in the season. He's got beautiful parents that raised him well. He's got a great brother and sister, and they're just really good people. And I'm just glad that, we had the opportunity to really get to know him.
All right. Well, when you were recruiting him, Coach, when you're going up against Murray State, what are there certain things? What are the things that you have to do to try to separate yourself when you're really in a recruiting war with a team like Murray State? Let's just use this one as an example.
Well, that's something I had to learn, because the important part about recruiting is the long-term thing. So it's not important that we sign Z. It's important that we sign players that want to be here. So really my job is to be so crystal clear about who we are and where we're going, so we attract like-minded people. Because the worst thing that happens is you sign people, get them to say yes, and they leave. Get them to say yes, and they don't like it here, right? And so we kind of switched our recruiting model and just really tried to do a better job of talking about who we are. Do you want to be a part of that? And for the most part, we've had success, with that. But that's something I've had to learn, and I kind of de-recruit them too. Like, I get in a meeting and I start throwing some haymakers on them, because I tell them right away, hey, if all you want to hear is how good you are, this would be the worst place to go in the planet USA. And all these things, because I don't want a bunch of tender booties on my team. Like, I coach them all hard. And if you're a tender booty, this is not a great place to go to school, And so just little things like that, I think, has helped and has kept our transfers down a little bit. And you get that good fit. I think Z feels like he's a Red Hawk, and we feel like Z's a Red Hawk. Like, we're just, it's a good fit.
I did 4 years in the U.S. Navy during the first Gulf War, and when you go to boot camp, that is what they're trying to get you to do, is quit. They are working you so hard. They want you to quit, and the guys that don't quit, those are the guys they want.
Right, exactly.
That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, get the uncommitted out,
Yep.
and I think that's recruiting a little bit too. It's just it's not about the ones you didn't sign, it's the ones you did sign. You better not have missed there.
All right, we're going to talk with Zach Smith. He'll join us when we come back. The Red Hawks Coaches Show. Don't forget, on Mondays, 69-cent wings for Wings, etc. They're award-winning jumbo wings, and now that is only on Mondays. So keep that in mind, 69 cents. And their daily half-pound lunch specials start at just $7.99. We've got NCAA tournament basketball on right now. We're watching the St. Louis Cardinals in spring training take on the Miami Marlins. We've got the women's basketball tournament on. We've got it all right here. Stop on by, Wings, etc. We'll keep all of the drinks cold for you. We'll take a timeout. Zach Smith joins us when we come back. It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN. Welcome back to the Red Hawks Coaches Show at Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau. Now, keep in mind, next Monday, after the Red Hawks host Tennessee Tech this weekend, we will be over in Titletown, the Jackson Wings Etc. So we hope you'll make plans to join us over there. If you're coming for lunch today, we mentioned the daily half-pound lunch specials that start at just $7.99. If you want to check out their appetizer lineup, which we suggest you do, it includes their ultimate nachos, their spicy deep-fried pickle chips, which is a brand-new feature, and their menu includes a heck of a lot more than bone-in or bone-out wings. They've got freshly made burgers, and it is a nice selection of burgers here at Wings Etc. They have wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, smoked ribs, and much more. It's the home of the Red Hawks Coaches Show. Wings Etc. Good food, great times. The Red Hawks will host Tennessee Tech on Sunday at 2 o'clock at Houck Stadium. We're joined by Zach Smith, Red Hawks senior wide receiver. Does it seem like, here we go, it seemed like football just got going. This is the final home game on Sunday.
Yeah, it's different, with it being in March, not knowing what to expect in the fall, but I'm here for it. So,
okay, so now if you play here, pull your mic down just a little bit closer to your mouth. There you go, perfect. So if you play now and you're a senior, can you come back and play in the fall? Is that the way the NCAA set it up?
Yes, sir. So basically, the spring does not count eligibility-wise towards any of that. So I can play the spring basically for free, I guess, and then come back, and next fall will be my senior season. So
you actually you're a fifth-year senior because you took a red shirt. So you will be a sixth-year guy. Yeah. I mean, now once in a while, the NCAA will grant a 6 year of eligibility, but it's to a guy who's had 2 seasons of injury where they just couldn't play, and then once in a while you get a 6th year. There are going to be a lot of guys getting 6th years. How cool is that?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that, I came in with that we're still, staying together, still here after being here from 2016, so we might as well finish it together.
All right, tell us about your injury in 2016.
So the state championship game, I broke my leg. It is what it is. I didn't know.
Now, you broke it. What kind of a break was it?
Completely broke. It was my
tibia, fibula?
The smaller bone, not the big one.
Okay.
So I want to say fibula. And completely broke it. I didn't know, though, until after the game because my adrenaline was rushing.
So you played on it?
Yeah, I played on it, and my leg was like this big after. I was like, that don't look right. But I get here, and I'm running down on kickoff. I don't know why they got me on kickoff to begin with. Running down on kickoff, and I broke my collarbone. Ended up redshirting. I was also about 165, 170 then. Didn't look like I do now. So that had a big part of the reason why I got hurt.
Okay, then let me ask you this, because I've talked to a lot of athletes about redshirting. Nobody wants to hear the word. I mean, when they first come in, they've been a star wherever they were. They're in. I can play on this level. Why did they recruit me? Let's go. I want to play. Looking back now, was it a blessing in disguise that you got the red shirt?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. At first, why are they red shirting me? I'm coming off this good season, whatever. But you got to take time to develop your body for real in the weight room and really take that serious, because if you don't, it's going to show on the field with injuries just piling up. But once you get time, get in the weight room, take that red shirt serious and learn the playbook, do what you can, and then once your time comes, the opportunity presents itself, just take off.
Now, you are from Louisville, Kentucky. First of all, let's just clarify, it is not Louisville, it is Louisville.
Louisville,
right.
Kentucky. Yes,
now,
sir.
Does it feel like nails on a chalkboard when you hear somebody say, hey, he's from Louisville?
Whenever I hear somebody say it wrong, I just realize they're not from there. So I correct them every time.
All right. So in Louisville, tell us about playing at Mayo High School, because, they've had a ton of success at that high school.
Yes, sir. It's a great tradition. Don't get me wrong. I lost 3 games in high school in 4 years. So, it's great. The guys you do it with, too, it's different. And this year I believe they finally got somebody on a national schedule. We'd been wanting to do that since I was there, but now they're, I guess, big enough since we left to be on the national schedule. So
you put them on the map is what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess you can put them on the map
There
now.
you go. But, I'm saying your guys' success, you put them on the map, and now they're getting the national attention.
Yes, sir. Yeah. It was difficult, understanding why these younger guys were getting bigger offers. And bigger schools were coming in, but I guess we basically paved the way for, these younger guys. Not necessarily we're getting the scholarships for them, but to get these bigger schools in there so they have opportunities to go where they want in college.
All right. Now, Coach Took mentioned that Murray State was hot and heavy after you. Tell us about that recruiting process. Now, first of all, you played high school football with Zach Hall, the former National Defensive Player of the Year, one of the greatest linebackers to ever play football at SEMO. You were high school teammates together. Tell us about the recruiting of Murray State and SEMO and how you finally came to decide, I'm not going to be a racer, I'm going to be a Red Hawk.
Well, me and Zach, we had talked a lot for sure about, me going there or coming here. But really it came down to my visit. There was a guy, I'm sure everybody knows, DeMichael Jackson. He used to be a running back here, and he was from Louisville. So that kind of got me leaning this way. Guy from Louisville, he's going somewhere I don't know about. And then really, Zach, they offered him, I want to say on a Wednesday, and that was the only Division I offer he had. So on the spot, he committed, and he's on me the whole week, man. You gotta go here. I'm like, I got a visit coming up to Murray this weekend, though. I want to see what they're talking about. They throw the heck out of the ball, whatever. But I just came here the weekend before, and just like Coach Took said earlier, it just felt right. Like atmosphere, family environment, just who I was around and who I was going to do it with coming in. That's basically what got me to be at SEMO.
Well, I tell you right now, Cape Girardeau and Murray, Kentucky do not even compare.
No.
So what, they got like one pizza joint over there? I mean, come on.
That was another reason, too. I was going to take him a visit there, and me and my mom asked where we could go out to eat. Just sit down and get some meat.
Good luck
they said
on that
Wendy's. One. I was like, well, I'm not coming here.
Good luck, Wendy's. Not only do we have one Wings here, but we got another one down the street over in Jackson. So, we've got but just the entire atmosphere, once you came here, once you talked to the coaches, once you saw the entire city, once you saw campus, what were your thoughts when it kind of influenced you to, you know what, this feels right?
Well, first off, the coaches didn't lie during the recruiting process. They kept it straight up with me, and that's what I want. Honesty from anybody, whether it's good or bad. That's what I need. But really, when I first got here, though, I was like, first off, I've never heard of Cape Girardeau ever in my life. And then I came here, and Louisville's whatever the population is, and then I come here, and it's like everything's 5 minutes away. So I was fine with that because the traffic back home. That's the only thing I cannot stand is Louisville traffic. But when I come here, I'm across the city in 5 minutes. This is great. But really, just the guys that came on that recruiting visit that weekend, and obviously Zach, me and him have been tight since probably middle school. So that had a lot to do with it.
So you get here and you have success. You got a couple of rings, a playoff ring, an OVC championship ring. Looking back now and the lack of success that they've had at Murray, now they're having a good year this year, you feel like, man, made the right call. I mean, because that coach isn't even there anymore that recruited you.
Exactly. I think they've been through a couple, honestly. But, I mean, it is what it is. Everything is just with COVID and everything being so uncertain, you just never know what to expect.
All right, so everybody knows about your foot speed. What's your best 40 time that you've ever run?
That I've ever been clocked at, and this was in high school, when I was about 20 pounds lighter.
Yep.
It was a 4.39, but I say now I probably run about a 4.4 or something.
And how important is it at your position to have speed? It's one thing to have good hands, another thing to have size or to be able to, high point a football and go up and get it. How important at your position is speed?
I think speed kills. Like, it always has, it always will. I mean, you look at, guys like Tyreek and those guys in the league, you can't guard them because they're so fast. So if you can just run, take the top off, that's all that matters.
In your 4 years of playing, this is as good as I've seen your hands. I mean, if the ball is close, you are pretty much bringing it in this year. How long and how much have you worked on pass catching?
Well, I say, during the summer, I would go out to the field probably just about every day and get on the jugs machine and catch a certain amount of balls forward, a certain amount of balls to my right side, a certain amount of balls to my left, and then have bunch throw balls over my shoulder. And that was just the beginning of it. And whenever that wasn't available, I couldn't go to the jugs. Me and Bunch, we would just go to, the intramural fields, or if we could get on the field and just work on timing and routes and all kinds of stuff. And I think it's showing now.
Well, you guys certainly have a chemistry between you. You played 2 years with Daniel Santa Catarina. Now you get a brand new quarterback, and it's Andrew Bunch. Tell us about the first time that you met him, and then tell us about the relationship, how you decided, hey, we're going to go out and work, and you guys even live next to each other, right?
Yeah, we live in the same apartment complex, but first time I met Bunch, it was actually over a phone call because I was in Louisville at the time, because we weren't sure if we were going to come back here for the season in the fall, and all that was real messy. But it was a phone call, and I ended up coming up that weekend, met face-to-face, and then I want to say right after that or the day after that, we went straight to the field just to get some work in. And from that moment forward, I knew, he's all about work. He wants to get better. He wants to do what I want to do. So let's do it together. Why not?
All right. With Zach Hall, you guys have the same first name. Was it ever confusing in practice in high school?
Never. It was always Zach and Z. Never.
Zach and Z. Is that the way it was here?
Yeah, that was how it was here.
Okay, so you're always Z.
Mm-hmm.
Any other nicknames?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. How about your squat total? Okay, when you first got here, what did you say, 165 pounds?
Yeah, I weighed about 165 when I first got here.
Okay, what did you max out as a 165 freshman, and what are you maxing out now in the weight room on the squat?
Man, that's a great question. I honestly couldn't tell you because in high school we used the weight room, but we didn't use it how I thought we should. But now my most recent, I want to say, was 455 or something like that a while ago. But if I probably couldn't even got that off the bar as a freshman. I would have went right down. But, weight room is huge. Like, you have to develop your body. You have to get in the weight room to have success on the field, and it shows.
So who's the guy, once he starts hitting the weights, that people stop and watch? Who's that guy?
I don't know. I mean, we have a couple of those guys just to sit there and watch them and like, wow, like this is really happening right now. I would say last year was Josh Avery, because I've never seen a human being that physically big in my life. But, I mean, everybody really works hard. I wouldn't say one guy particularly really stands out to me like that, but everybody works hard, gets their work in.
How about from the day that you visited here, what the weight room looked like, and now every day when you're hitting the weight room, what the weight room looks like now? How big of a transformation has it been?
Well, it's been huge. I want to say I was here the first year that weight room got redone, so I was blessed. From what I saw, Coach Took always shows us, where we've come from and where we are. That weight room right there, that would have turned me away. Like, recruiting-wise, recruiting pitch-wise, I'm not interested in that. But the new weight room now, I mean, you can't ask for a better weight room, really. It's legit.
How often are you instrumental in maybe talking to a recruit? Because I know that players, they want to explain to people, here is what it's like to come here.
Right. I'll only do that if a recruit reaches out to me.
I got you.
I'm not really going to, push that envelope unless they really are interested in coming here. But, yeah.
All right. What team talks the most smack in the OVC? Does anyone talk more smack than Jacksonville?
No. No, that showed Sunday, too, and Took always, tells me to not talk because I tend to be the one to talk back. So, but I feel like I did pretty good yesterday. I kept my head, had a little mishap on the sideline, but it happened on the sideline. So,
all right, tell us about returning kicks, man, because, I mean, you've got some big dudes coming full speed, and their only thought in their mind is to take your head off. What's it like returning kicks at the Division I level?
Honestly, it's a mindset. If you're thinking what you just said, oh my gosh, there's 11 people coming down here to kill me, then you're not going to have a good return. You're not going to do good. But, if you trust your teammates, they're going to get their job done, and just trust what the coaches tell us to do is going to happen. So,
all right, now you've returned punts in your career. You're not returning punts now. You're more of a kick guy and then obviously a wide receiver guy. how different is it returning a punt versus a kick, and how much more pressure is there more pressure returning a punt? Because first of all, you've got to catch it. Secondly, if a guy is pretty close and you don't call for a fair catch, he's going to try to light you up and may light you up. And then, when do I decide for the fair catch or not? Tell us what goes into being a punt returner.
Yeah, I personally like punt return more than kick return because it's just you. And, you make two guys miss and boom, that's a big play right there. But like I said before, it's just a mindset. You got to know that I'm going to catch this ball, and once I catch it, I'm going to do everything I can to not get tackled. And I feel like I've shown plenty of times throughout my career that I can do that. And, it's everybody else on the field has to do their job too, though. So if I'm down there catching the ball and gunner's running free, it's going to force me throw my fair catch up. But, it's all a mindset. Like I said, you really got to love it too. You got to love it.
Biggest hit you've ever taken on punt return?
EKU 2018 when I tore my labrum in my shoulder. It hasn't been that. Well, I got surgery on it now. It's good, but it wasn't the same since then.
Can you tell when it's going to rain? Does your shoulder start barking?
No, not really. It's more
Okay.
my right one now. So
All right.
it's the best of both worlds, I guess.
All right, as you get ready for Tennessee Tech here this weekend, final home game of the spring. Obviously you'll still play some home games in the fall. So what's the mindset? What's the mindset of the team? You guys have been so close in most of these games.
Yeah, man, we just gotta keep working. We just gotta come to practice every day like we have, and just keep working. And obviously, we want to be on the other side of those outcomes, but we're there. And we know what it takes. We've been there before. We've done it 2018, 2019. So we just got to get everybody together and go from there.
You got a chance if you put a little winning streak together here going into the fall. You got a chance to really grab some momentum. Now it's not going to be a playoff berth at this point, but you got a chance to grab some momentum before you head into the fall.
Yeah, that'll really help with the overall team confidence, really, and just knowing who we are as a team and what we need to work on. And yeah.
All right, now you are good at the jet sweep. They haven't been running as many, so we need to see what we can do about that. We need a few more Zach Smith jet sweeps. When did the jet sweep turn from a handoff to this little
Pass.
pitch play where you get a reception for it rather than a rushing? When did that happen?
I'd say in 2018 we started running that. I remember we played Dayton, and we called that exact play, and Santa literally caught the ball, tossed it up. I did the rest for 73 yards, and he got 73 yards passing and did nothing.
So did you say on the sideline, hey?
No, he
73.
thanked me. He came up to
okay.
me like, you made me look good. Thank you. So, it is what it is.
But
I enjoy it.
It used to be a handoff. Did you run that play in high school, or is it kind of new since you came to SEMO?
I never ran that play in high school. I would go in motion in high school, though. But, I played running back my whole life up until high school. So getting the ball and, kind of judging where linemen are going to be, setting up blocks and all that, come just natural to me. So I enjoy it. I like having the ball in my hands.
I don't blame you. Everyone is interested to hear your best Took story. Give us a good story about Took.
There's too many.
Okay, narrow one down.
Narrow one down. Man, I don't even know. I can't even think. He's right here too. I don't want to.
Okay, well, we thought we'd give it a shot. Who am I?
Coach Took.
All right, Zach. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you at Houck Stadium on Sunday, and good luck the rest of the season. Appreciate it. That is Zach Smith. And Coach Took will rejoin us. We'll talk about the Red Hawks, not only their opponent coming up on Sunday, but, hey, the fall football schedule has been released. What does Coach Took think? We'll find out when we come back. Red Hawks Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN. Red Hawks Coaches Show from Wings Etc. in Cape. And again, don't forget we'll be in the Jackson location next week. Hope you'll join us then. Red Hawks hosting Tennessee Tech coming up on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Coach, we have seen the football schedule released. Now, it is what I'm looking at right here is OVC games. Tennessee State here at Tech and P. So you got 2 road games in there together. And then it's basically a flip-flop of if you hosted Murray this year, which you did, you go to Murray. So it's basically a flip-flop. Just no Jacksonville State, no Eastern Kentucky. What are your thoughts on, I see Martin twice. That's new.
And Murray twice.
Okay, Murray twice too.
Yeah, so obviously when they, left the league and kind of left us all hanging on it, it was too late to schedule games.
Gotcha.
The games are scheduled years and years in advance, so we're left with not a lot of options. Those are good options. Certainly Murray's a rival and get to play him twice, and Martin same way, and so we're doing the best we can with the cards that we were dealt.
All right, your non-conference games, and are you playing a money game?
Yeah, so love that we open up on a Thursday night versus SIU, so that one is a big one. And
that'll be big.
Just love opening up at home. And a Thursday night is just great on a college campus. And then we go to Sam Houston, which is a really good program in Texas, and then we play Mizzou. And so those are going to be really challenging games, but games you're excited to play.
Sam Houston State, I believe they're Southland, right?
Yeah.
They're in the Southland Conference. And then, of course, you played the University of Missouri a few times. All right, Tennessee Tech, it's interesting. Their season has kind of been up and down. They had a quality win over Austin Peay, and then they end up losing to Eastern Illinois. Eastern's first win, a team that you handled pretty well, which shows you that Eastern is getting better. They're a young team getting better. Tennessee Tech, though, a team that if they play well can beat maybe anybody. And I know in that Austin Peay game, Tennessee Tech forced a lot of governor turnovers in that contest.
Yeah, no question. And it's the spring season, man. It's just crazy. I don't know if you saw where SIU got blown out.
Did not see that.
So South Dakota State beat them by like 30 or something.
And they were up to number 5 in the rankings, right?
So it's just anybody could beat anybody. There's a lot going on besides football in these kids' life. And, it's just one of those things you got to manage. But, no one's looking for the fall. No one is cashing it in. That's not a team that I'm going to coach, and that's certainly not my attitude. I'm not even that skilled. The only skill I have is I just keep coming. Like my own wife didn't say yes when I asked her to marry me. The only thing I can do is at least show up and keep being a nuisance, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to get better, and winning solves a lot of problems, and we got to get on winning track. But that doesn't just happen. It happens when all the things it takes to win happen.
You talk about not many skills. I'm telling you, over the course of my lifetime and your lifetime, you can vouch for this as well. We've seen a lot of guys that grow some ugly, scraggly-looking beards, like should have never even thought about trying to grow a beard. You've got the skill set, man. I mean, you've got you do have another skill, and that the ability to grow a nice one, a masterpiece.
It's interesting because I don't want a beard. My wife wants me to have a beard. But then you're kind of wondering, is it that she wants to see less of my face, or like what's kind of what's behind it?
Does it really matter as long as she likes the beard?
No, that's right. No, what you tell me, you pick it, I'll do it. I don't even look in the mirror. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, none of that stuff matters to me. So, but I'm kind of a beard guy now. I think it's going to be kind of long term. I shaved it off when you had to wear a mask every day because it was pretty hard when you're communicating and coaching in a mask. Man, it'll make your face pretty hot with a beard. But I think it's here to stay. I'm
worried about, is it going to weight you down on the rock and lock run to midfield? That's the thing. Could it slow you down?
Well, it could probably make me go in a cardiac arrest is probably what it could do. But, yeah, we were talking about that early. We have to do it so early. You know, we try to do it early so I got enough time to get my heart rate back down before kickoff.
So the Tennessee Tech game at 2 o'clock, I know you've been a little banged up. Did you? I know Zion, he came in, he gave it a go, and it kind of got nicked up. Did you suffer any other injuries here going forward, and how close to healthy do you think you're going to be on Sunday?
I think we'll still be pretty banged up. Yeah, there's a couple there that we'll have to see how the x-rays and stuff come out of the game.
Okay.
But like I said, though, man, it was great to see some of those young players come in and play, and it's all part of the process. You can't get frustrated. You just got to do the best you can with what you got.
Let me ask you this. One of the impact guys you've had over the last several years was Justin Swift, linebacker. He got playing time early in his career because of an injury.
Yeah.
And, I mean, how much did it help a guy like Justin Smith, who not only was he a guy, he was a dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a real dude in your program.
No doubt. It's like Isiel. You know, he's playing for Mardrick, who had an injury and may not be back this week again. You know, he's a redshirt freshman that would probably next year is more when you thought he would kind of come on, but he's been able to get a lot of those plays. He had an interception versus Jacksonville State and on all those, and so it's a great deal for building depth. It's just not ideal to winning football games right now, but everybody's got the same problems. Everybody's got to deal with the same things. We just need to, keep getting after it.
Does it seem like it's a final home game already?
I don't know. I don't necessarily think like that. It's definitely you could tell the grind's kind of here. It's like the never-ending day. We get done last night. I have a COVID test this morning at 7. Like you just, the weeks never – there's not that pause on a Sunday where you take the morning off or something. You're just right back into it. But I'm excited about the next 3 games and certainly a home game this week, and excited about playing better.
All right, it'll be 2 o'clock Sunday, Houck Stadium. Coach, we'll see you there. Thanks so much for your time.
Eric.
Thanks to Zach Smith as well. Great job by him, and hopefully he has a big game against Tennessee Tech on Sunday. We will get you back into regular ESPN radio programming. It is the Max Kellerman Show coming right up. And don't forget, it is a 2 o'clock kickoff Sunday at Houck Stadium. And, of course, the Red Hawks Radio Network will broadcast Real Rock 99.3.